Everything you need to know about the Vigo Dem Party. So sit back, relax, and watch from anywhere. Get ready for a chat with the chair.
I'm Joe Atling, Chair of the Vigo County Democratic Central Committee. Welcome to the award-winning Chat with the Chair. We are delighted that you could join us. Hope everybody is healthy and safe out there in our viewer world. We have got a tremendous show for you this evening. We're not going to waste any more time with listening to me. Let's get to our next guest here. Tell our viewers who you are.
My name is Bernie McGee from Terre Haute, Indiana, and I'm just excited to be here today.
Well, Bernie, we are excited you're here. You know, it's been a little while since I saw you, and the last time I saw you was less than under ideal circumstances. And no, it wasn't being pulled over by Officer McGee. You, in fact, were being very magnanimous at the time, donating your time to a very worthwhile community service project. And I happened to be in attendance supporting our good police officers and deputy sheriffs, and lo and behold, you suffered a catastrophic injury.
I did.
So I was a first-hand witness of it. In fact, I was probably in close enough proximity that I was going to be blamed somehow. But tell our viewers what was going on and what happened.
Oh, we had this amazing basketball game. It was Terre Haute City versus the Sheriff's Department. Second half, first play, I get the ball, I jab right, got the defender on his feet, I jab again, I go left, come to a jump stop. And what are you thinking? Probably, he dunked on him. No, I didn't dunk on him. I tore my patellar tendon. Down I went, and I mean it was interesting.
It was very painful to watch, and as I said, I couldn't have been any closer. I was right there, taking it in, boasting about how the Sheriff's Department's making a strong comeback, that watched Bernie on this play, waiting for the spectacular dunk. And right at that moment, as soon as those words came out of my mouth, there he went down. And I know was not as much pain as you were in, but it hurt to see the type of pain that you were in. So
it was horrible. And what made it just a little bit worse is he was there, and Judge Newton was there, and they had their little jokes before the play, so it hurt. It hurt really bad.
Well, it wasn't as bad as some of your. I mean, the fellows on the other squad, the Terre Haute Police, were like, "Hey, move him out of the way. We got points to score.
Scoop them up. Come on, the game goes on."
Those guys were like, "We got threes to get up."
Yes,
I mean, there was no sympathy.
My friends are harsh. Yeah, we'll just say that. But we still love them. We love Terre Haute City.
But you did have a lot of people come to your assistance, and of course, emergency personnel arrived, and all your brothers and sisters and law enforcement were rooting you on, and so I know that was again a substantial injury sustained. So talk to our viewers about what the course of treatment that you've gotten has been.
So that happened on the 26th of September. October the 6th, I had surgery in Indianapolis, Ortho Indy. They're amazing. After that, I basically had to immobilize my leg in a straight leg cast for a month and a half, which, if you know anything about me, I'm a go, go, go kind of guy. Sitting at home, laying in bed all day, constantly needing somebody's help. I was at the mercy of anyone that was willing to help me. I couldn't use the restroom on my own, couldn't shower on my own, I couldn't do anything by myself, and so it was pretty hard. Started therapy 3 times a week about a month and a half after the surgery. The patellar tendon's very delicate in the surgery, so you have to let it heal before you can start to bend it, unlike an ACL or a meniscus tear. And so since then, I've just been kind of progressing in therapy. They now have bumped me down to 2 times a week instead of 3. I now can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Hopefully, at the beginning of March, I'll be released, which will be about 2 months earlier than what initially was projected. So
that's no surprise that you're ahead of schedule. Of course, you were in tremendous, still are, I'm certain, physical shape. Was there anything that doctors have given you an indication of that happening that could have been prevented, or is this one of those things that all the circumstances were right for it to happen?
It was kind of the right time at the right place, right time. He did say initially it was like a bomb went off in my knee, and he was like it was only a matter of time until it happened, and so I'm sure it was maybe years of sports and lifting weights and stuff. It was a freak accident. I mean, just the knee went the right way at the right time. I hope it never happens again. That's for sure.
So, of course, just to remind our viewers what that event was that you were participating in on behalf of the Sheriff's Department.
It's called the Brown versus Blue basketball game. It's the Vigo County Sheriff's Office versus Terre Haute City Police, and we raise money for chances and services for youth. And so I always say I went through a lot of pain, but, people came to see the pain and they paid and we raised money, so it's still a win-win for everybody.
Well, of course, Sheriff's Department came up a little short in their comeback without you, I might add.
I think it was 13 points. Yeah, it hurt my feelings.
I think if you'd have been there, I think it would have been the difference in the ball game. At least we're going to go with that.
Well, we're going to go with that. Based on years past stats, we're going to go with that. I was told that next year we're going to have to do like a bowling match
is that right?
Or golf. We're not doing basketball anymore. So
really?
Too many injuries in the span of the Brown versus Blue basketball game amongst both offices.
That's unfortunate to hear that.
Yeah, I wanted a rematch for sure.
Well, knowing the competitive nature of both departments, I'm not convinced that there won't be some game somewhere.
Just off record.
Yes, off the record.
Off the record.
Covert.
I'll
of course,
send you some
there'll
pictures.
be no officials, so then it'll really be some serious basketball going on.
It's going to get rough.
Although they did indicate that once you went out of the game, there was a lot more passing was taking place.
Did they say that?
A lot more shots were available.
Well, it's really weird because I was told by the sheriff that, hey, you need to stop passing the ball so much. That's why we were down. So maybe, I don't know. I'll have to get with him and see where the conflicting story
Well,
is.
yeah, there could be a little conflict there. But.
Or if Joe Etling, maybe we're making the story up. I don't know.
Well, there's always that. Possibly. But talk about then your work with the Sheriff's Department then, how I assume was interrupted to some extent by this injury.
It was. I wasn't working for about 2.5 months. Again, just at home, trying to do everyday life and just manage to get by. Once I could start driving, then I could start coming into the office, and right now I'm working in CID, which is the Criminal Investigation Division, just working on cases that I can work inside the Sheriff's Office since I'm still what's considered light duty. I can't actually go out into the road and do anything, not driving a marked car or anything. So it's really been an eye-opener for me. I've learned a lot about who I am, a lot about who other people are. Some people you think you're close to and you don't hear from them. Others, you heard from all the time that you didn't realize you were so close to. So overall, it's been a really good experience for me. However, I would never want to experience it again, but I have learned a lot about myself.
Very interesting. So, of course, I know how much you valued your work with the Sheriff's Department, and particularly being in uniform on the road, and how integral you've been to the Sheriff's Department in that capacity. I know that the number of people you've been involved with pursuing in that capacity. And so, of course, you're doing a little bit different things now, but talk about that and how that's helped you grow as an officer.
It's allowed me to see a whole different side of policing. So typically on the road, we take the report and we send it to CID. Now being able to walk through the case and get the fine details and, hopefully bring justice to those who need that is really important to me. And so it's just given me a different light in what detectives do. I'm not saying I want to do that the rest of my career or anything, but it's definitely been a nice tool in my toolbox.
So is your plan to get back then in the road and on the road for
Absolutely.
the Sheriff's Department?
Yes. Hopefully at the beginning of March, I will be released to full duty, which then I will go back to being a nighttime deputy, which that's where my passion is. Once again, that's what I love to do, hit the roads and help those who need help.
So you also, of course, as based on your previous visit with us, have a lot of other irons in the fire, as they say. So how have those adventures been going?
Going well. The DJs is busier than ever, which is a good thing. I did have to slow down there for a while with my injury, and then I had to have people help me set up, and then I would still DJ, and then they'd have to help me tear down. Now I'm to a point where I can set up and tear down myself. So that's really going well. I'm not refereeing right now. I had to slow down doing that because obviously I can't run. But all in all, everything's going really well. Just I'm learning to kind of slow down a little bit and enjoy life.
So, of course, the DJing also oftentimes involves you appearing on a dance floor. Have we been able to return to that yet?
Not yet. I actually recall, and we might be able to get some B footage if we need to. A couple weddings I've done that you've been at.
Is that right?
Yeah, and I mean, you were on the dance floor, and so
That is true.
maybe we can show our viewers. I know you would like to see that, I'm sure.
Yeah, in fact, I have, if you've heard of break dancing, I have done a lot of that, and there's been a lot of things broken in the process of me break dancing.
I did notice when you came out to the dance floor, you were feeling good. When you walked out, you're kind of like, oh,
Yeah, I mean, so, of course, that's part of it, but not exactly sure that's what the break dancing is supposed to be.
Yeah, no.
But you, on the other hand, now you've got tremendous moves out there, so what's the projection coming back from this injury?
Yeah, I'm gonna come back stronger than ever.
Stronger than ever.
Stronger than ever.
Of course.
I mean, ever just oh yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready.
So is dancing of the Terrell Stars in your future then?
I did that. Been there and done that.
I know, but I mean, this would be...
No, sir.
What? No, sir.
No, sir.
Well, I thought if we said you came back, that you'd be the guy that came back from this injury, and given Brandon Halleck's ties into that event that you were injured, it would just be a natural tie-in for that.
It probably would, but I don't want to injure my right knee, so I'm going to stay away from that. Any physical activity I'm pretty much done with. I'm going to see if I can be the MC, though.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. Maybe get you on there and do
There you
some
go.
dancing.
So what about what dance were you doing as the dance with the Terrell Stars? What?
I did the samba.
Samba.
The samba, which is a very intimate, hands-on kind of love movement, sexy, yeah, if you will, spicy.
So, did you know how to do that beforehand?
I did not.
So you learned it just for that event?
I'm telling you, I looked like a robot.
Is that right?
In fact, before.
You?
Oh yeah, because I'm just so used to doing the robot. I looked like a robot. However, after many, sessions of training and getting with my dance instructor, I became pretty comfortable with it. It's actually a pretty fun dance.
Do you continue to do it now?
Absolutely not. No, my hips don't work. The break dance.
The hips don't lie.
They don't lie either.
I didn't know. I wasn't sure.
They don't lie either.
So we had the opportunity to have the sheriff visit with us this past chat, and of course we spoke a little bit about the vehicles and some of the changes with the vehicles in the sheriff's department, utilizing some different colors, and then of course we get back to the uniforms themselves, the brown, and so you've been very distinguished in your appearance as you appear in but you're not dressed in the brown today.
No, I'm not dressed in brown. This is me.
This is you.
This is me, just kind of hanging out and living.
So let's talk about this look. What's the hat? I mean, what do we got going here?
So it says no bull, because we don't put up with no bull.
All right.
No, it's a workout brand.
Okay.
They sponsored the CrossFit Games this year, and so I'm into obviously the CrossFit and working out, and so had to support the brand.
Nice.
And then
we always like to see your branding.
Yes, and the jeans and the hoodie, which you don't see me in a lot.
No.
I took a holiday today.
Oh wow.
And so it was my day off, and so I felt like I should just be able to dress however I want.
Well, I think it's great, and we appreciate you joining us. So, are we getting back to the CrossFit then? We anticipate that's in the future. What does Ortho Indy say about that?
They're right now. I'm jumping. They have me jogging. They have me doing things that I honestly never thought I could do again.
Wow.
Like if you asked me 2.5, 3 months ago, maybe not as intensive CrossFit, but definitely more body weight, kind of get your heart rate up, but nothing as intense. There's nothing I don't need to prove anything to myself or to anyone else. I just want to stay in shape and be healthy. I don't have to see how much I can lift or how fast I can run a mile. There's no reason for that at my age.
Are your doctors expecting you to be back as good, if not better than ever?
They keep telling me that my knee now is better than it's ever been.
Really?
And they had to reconstruct the entire knee from the lateral and medial retinactum to the patellar tendon. So they couldn't do a total knee replacement, so they basically had to just construct it and make it all better than ever, I guess. So in my head, I can't do certain things. Like I can't jump or have to question, should I take this step or should I do this or that? But the doctor tells me 100% it's better and stronger now than it was even 6 months ago. So
as you were lying on that floor that night, did you have any sense about how severe this injury really was?
I knew it was a pain I never felt before. and I know I could be sometimes the showman. And so when I hit that, when I hit the floor, you know, people thought I was joking. And then they run to my rescue and they're trying to move me. Some of my Turtle City friends are trying to move me, and I'm like, guys, I can't move. And when they realized that my kneecap was in my quad, which the quad is a big muscle in your leg, then they realized, no, he's really in pain. I didn't know it was that extent until the next day when I had the MRI and showed that I completely ruptured it.
So the doctor, of course, that discussion with the doctor about all that he had to do to rebuild all that, I assume that probably left a lump in your throat.
It did. Honestly, looking back, it's kind of cool how you know, our bodies can fail or we can hurt our bodies, but with medicine and technology, how they can literally reconstruct it to where you can do everything you've ever done before and better. There was another lady in there. She was 80-something years old and decided that they wanted to repair it instead of just give her a total knee replacement, which is unheard of, you know, at 84 years old. And so it's really cool just to kind of dive in and just see how awesome, you know, technology is and how smart our doctors are to be able to, you know, reconstruct a knee that will 100% fully function and work.
That's great. And so you've been, I take it, following the doctor's orders and the therapist's orders as you come along here. No setbacks particularly?
Nope, no setbacks. Again, I'm ahead of schedule. I'm not pushing the limits, but I'm definitely, on days that I don't have therapy, I'm going to the gym and I'm doing the exercises they're giving me because I do want to progress and get stronger and better and get back to work because I miss it. You know, I miss being out with my cohorts and being on the street. So,
well, at the risk of forgetting somebody, is there anybody that you do want to give some particular credit or shout out to here about your recovery?
Honestly, my immediate family, my mom, my brother, my fiance Chelsea, I mean, they've all been lifesavers because I have to be taken everywhere again. I have to have help getting showers, getting food. I have a 7-year-old daughter. She's been amazing, you know, holding doors open for me. Just things that you wouldn't expect a 7-year-old to do, she just immediately did, knowing that her dad was hurt. Judge Newton, he was there, sat in that ER room with me, bless his soul, for 4 or 5 hours. They gave me morphine. I can't tell you what I was saying to him, but I mean, he sat there. Just a lot of community members came together and just, you know, hey, if you need anything, let us know. Just kind of that thought of, I'm thinking of you, really went a long way.
That's great. So we have started another year, if you can believe it. 2022 is upon us, and I know that you have been serving in so many different capacities and helping out in so many different things in the community over the years. One of the things, of course, another capacity you have is you've been serving as a committee person for the Democrat Party, and of course we have an election this year, so we can expect that you'll be seeking that position again, I hope.
Yeah, absolutely. Any way that I can help, you know, progress us and you know, better our community in this position, I will always seek for that.
So, again, obviously a lot of talk nationally, in particular, with people in law enforcement. I don't know if you could speak, you know, particularly with your extensive background in law enforcement and in church and so many community events, about your association with the Democratic Party and why you're a Democrat.
A lot of it, you know, spans back to kind of how I was raised, how I was raised and who I was raised around. A lot of it, Judge Newton, yourself, a lot of people in that network, I just kind of was raised around it, grown around it, and then a lot of the principles and standards I just have kind of always carried on, and that's where I found myself, is in the Democratic Party. I don't see myself changing ever.
With regard to your own stance as a law enforcement officer, and of course you being pro-gun and carrying a gun for your job and your personal life for protection, how do you translate that into being a Democrat, and how do you pronounce that with regard to your public stance as well as when you meet with people privately about that?
Your right to bear arms is exactly that. You have the right to do so, and as a Democrat, I believe you should have the right, and you should you obviously respect the gun, but at the same time, you have the right to carry the gun. You can protect yourself, you can protect others, your property, and those are your rights, and as a Democrat, that's what I will stand for. It's important in my job, because, again, I have to protect myself and others. It's important in my private life because, again, I can protect myself than others, and it's my right. So why take that from me?
Absolutely. And of course, you are aware that the sheriff is up for election again this year, and don't necessarily want to put you on the spot, but of course he's been in and indicated that he was the first guy in line filing to run for public office for the 2022 cycle here. So what are your thoughts about Sheriff Plassey seeking re-election?
You will never find a better leader, period. And I would tell you that on record, off record. Talk about a man who has not only done the job, but he lives the job. If I go into his office and Sheriff Plassey, this is what I need, or this is what I think, even if it's not the best idea, he listens, he takes it into consideration. If I needed a day off and nobody else was able to, accommodate that for whatever reason, Sheriff Plassey would be out there working the road, in my place. You just will never find somebody who genuinely cares as much as him. I don't see anybody in that position that could do better than him. And yes, eventually there come a time where his 8 years hopefully is up and somebody has to step in, but they're gonna have huge shoes to fill because he is a person who will hold you accountable, but at the same time he's going to be your biggest supporter and back you up when you're doing right.
That's great. So I guess needless to say, we might see you on the campaign trail then.
Oh yeah, he is my vote, my family's vote, and if you don't vote for him, then shame on you.
So as you are yourself entering the 2022 year, and of course still working on your rehabilitation, what do you see the year holding for you?
I going to just continue to get better. I'm actually going to FTO school, which is it's called Field Training Officer. So I'll be able to train other reserves and deputies as they come onto our department. I'll do that at the end of February. Still continue to do my DJing. Again, I'm kind of laying down on everything else, just kind of taking it slow, but maybe entertain other opportunities if they come up in the 22 year.
Are we still singing at church?
Still singing at church. I actually sang last Sunday, and I'll be singing again in 2 weeks. So I'm still doing that. I told him I wouldn't sing until I was able to walk on the stage without help and not have to sit in a chair. So that was a goal that I had. I wanted to get back up there and start singing again, but I didn't want to have help. I didn't want to have to sit as everybody else is standing. So now that I'm able to do that,
well, I'm sure the congregation was glad to have you back.
Yeah, it was good to be back.
Sure.
It was again a mental thing, even for me, like knowing this is where I was, and then I got there were some setbacks, and now that I'm able to do it again, it just shows that I'm progressing back to where I need to be.
So were you able to practice on that? Is that something you're able to practice while you've been down, or is
not a lot. I did the other day. I sang a little something on Facebook. I put my country hat on and sang on Facebook. But more is just in my free time. I'm in the car. Do a little singing here and there. But I've been blessed. I don't have to practice a lot.
Now I'm just curious. You definitely are blessed with a beautiful voice. So I'm just curious though, with regard to your social media acumen, which I seem to be lacking. And although I was supposed to remind everybody that you like us and share us.
Yes.
You're supposed to do that.
And share. Hit that button.
So do that right now, if you would, please, just because I've been reminded by our producers to do that. But I'm curious, what platforms are you on? You've mentioned Facebook, so what other ways could people find Bertie McGee?
I have Facebook.
That's it?
I have Instagram, and that's it. Okay. I get notifications all the time for LinkedIn, and I'm not saying that I'm against it. I've just never dabbled into it. I don't have Snapchat, and I don't have, what's the thing, everybody, TikTok.
So that's what I want to ask you about, because I see that there's some officers out there that seem to be kind of getting on TikTok. And with all due respect, I don't think they have your level of talent. So I was curious if somebody's been encouraging you to take your talents to TikTok.
People have said, hey, you need to start a little singing page. But I just, for what? I don't. I've had my fun with singing. That's one more thing to take away from friends or family. I don't want to be glued to my phone. And that's why I even got rid of Snapchat. I got rid of a lot of Twitter. I just there's no reason for me to have it personally. It's too much of a time consuming.
That's probably good advice for 2022. And I want to go back to something you said earlier. You've alluded to some of it with regard to the people that, in particular, that reached out to you and that you knew were there and had your back, so to speak. But you talked about some other things that you were able to think about and about yourself, and maybe even about other people, but primarily about yourself. So this period, although of course it was very sad to see you in that situation, but what would you say the primary thing that you have learned about yourself during this period? That you didn't know. In other words, something that you didn't know about yourself going in that maybe surprised you a little bit.
I didn't know that I didn't have a lot of patience. And it's not patience like toward people, it's more patience toward myself. Like, it's okay sometimes to fail. It's just like bouncing back and being better. It's okay to tell people no sometimes, you know, I need time for myself. And so for me, the biggest thing is it's okay to just sometimes just chill out and relax and, you know, just take time for yourself, for your family. And that's been the biggest thing. Just learning who your close friends are and who your close friends that you thought were and they really aren't, or who people who just smile on your face, or the people, hey, let me know if you need anything, but really, if you let them know you need something, crickets, you know, like, where are you at? I mean, my pastor, I told him, he was like, hey man, I'm just checking on you, you need anything? And I was like, honestly, yes, if you would go to the store and you would go get me some Honey Crisp apples and some Gatorade. And I know it sounds so minute, and I promise you by 3 o'clock that afternoon, and he had some hand-picked Honey Crisp apples and some Gatorade. And there's other people that I've been friends with, bent over backwards for, and it's like, hey, if you don't mind, could you maybe like swing by McDonald's? And days go by, weeks go by, and I'm still waiting for this McDonald's, and I'm gonna hold you to it. Like, I want my McDonald's.
Better show up. You're gonna have a big.
You better show up.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for you with a.
So of course you've had, I'm sure, a lot of people encourage you, a lot of good words of wisdom. Any that stick out in your mind, particularly that you might want to share with our viewers, something to pass on for them if they're having some tough times or have family or friends that are right now?
When you think you're at your rock bottom, there's nowhere to go but up. And I mean, that's truly what my motto was, because my rock bottom might be different than your rock bottom, might be different than somebody else's, but I felt like I was at rock bottom, but there was hope, and the encouraging words kind of built me back up to where I'm at now. My situation is nowhere close to maybe somebody else's situation, but there's still hope for them as well. And so just keep looking up, keep progressing, and it will get better. It does.
Well, you seem to be doing great, and of course you've always got a great outlook on things, and that's good to hear. How about some final words of encouragement or thoughts for our viewers? 2022
is going to be a good year. We've got a lot of stuff going with the Democratic Party. Stand by. Lots of really cool things that we're working on. I'm just excited about the year. Excited to see where it goes, and we'll go from there, I guess. And if they want to get Bernie McGee, the entertainer, how will they reach you? Well, you got to come right here to this to this channel, and you can see it all the time if you want. No, Facebook. Facebook. Facebook would be the so if they want to book you for an event or wedding or party, then just go on Facebook. Facebook. You can contact my secretaries, you know, Joe Etling, Judge Newton, and they'd be more than happy to, you know, get you squared away there as well. We want to end musically or not? You tell me. I mean, well, I know they don't want to hear from me, but if you had a little something that you wanted to share, okay. I heard there was a secret chord as David played, and it pleased the Lord. But you don't really care for music, do you? It goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall, the major lift, the baffled king composing hallelujah, hallelujah. Sing it with me. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Bernie, you are a man of many, many talents. So we are glad to see you here, and always great to see that smile. And if you are looking to find Bernie, look him up on Facebook. And again, we can't thank you enough for being here. Absolutely. Take care of yourself. God bless you. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate you tuning in to Chat with the Chair. Until our next chat, stay healthy, be well. God bless.
EMOCRATIC. Everything you need to know about the Vigo Dem party. So sit back, relax, and watch from anywhere. Get ready for a chat with a chair.